emotions to the right place, at his, and he allows me to process and navigate through those emotions correctly in a way that brings him glory and honors him. So yeah, that's how I got through my disappointment.
Yeah, the thing about disappointments and hurdles and misfortunes, we look for somebody to blame.
Man.
And sometimes there's nobody to blame, but just naturally we gotta look for the Lord, the devil,
Right.
politicians, our environment,
Yeah.
like somebody
Right.
to carry the wrath of this. So we look for somebody to blame. So Fierce, what about you, man? Did you have any disappointments? And if so, like how did you carry those and deal with them?
Yeah, I would say mine was more towards the situation. So, the disappointment, of course, when it happened, you could feel the letdown. Um, again, we had supports that didn't necessarily allow us to stay down, but for so long. And then it wasn't very long in between attempts either. So realistically, that's something that to keep in mind. So from the first one up until we conceived our daughter, it was less than a year. So we experienced that within a short amount of time. So before you could really get into the mood of disappointment, we had gotten to the point where we conceived our daughter. And like I said, that second time around, we were so detached that it really didn't matter. By the time she had the miscarriage, like we didn't have a connection, to that second child. So outside of our first one, our first Michelle, and the disappointment in that, going to our second, and by the time we conceived out of now, it really wasn't a whole lot of time to be disappointed in anyone or point the blame, because we almost kind of saw it like a mission. It was like, okay, that didn't work. We finna get back into it. Like it's no point of pointing fingers, anything. So
yeah, man, it's that again. I keep pointing to that faith. Some people call it crazy faith, but you got to have it. If not, man, these situations will get the best of you. And you talked about the account of Abraham, and I'm just thinking about how important it is to hear those kind of stories to say, like, you know what, at the minimum, it gives me hope just to get through this moment, and who knows what's that old song? You don't know what tomorrow brings, just live for day.
Right.
Yeah, I ain't gonna throw the vocals off on that right now, but man, that's a real part of it. But we got a comment right here, and we're gonna go to these comments, and then we're gonna wrap up the discussion. Tamika says, "My husband and I prepared for our baby for 18 years. Wow, 18 years. That's a long time. But he never wanted to talk about how he felt when it comes to infertility." She said, "I'm glad you all are sharing it to provide this safe space for other men to be okay with sharing this journey." And you're right. I just say on this how important it is to have the discussion, but also have it where you can be open, you can be honest, but also be careful, right? Because you can misplace blame or make another person, especially if y'all talked about how you try to make sure that she didn't feel responsible for losing those. So let's talk about this comment right here, if you will, where she said she prepared for 18 years, and like, I mean, not to thumb my nose is at your situation, but man, 18 years, that's a long time to carry the hope, right?
Mm-hmm. I would say that is a symbol of long suffering, and not even in negative, but it's like, how bad do you want it? And again, where is your belief? Because my situation was less than a year. Like I could only imagine for 18. Our daughter, she 8 now, so that's still 10 more years.
Wow.
Of trying, before that first one even gets there. So I know that's a lot mentally, emotionally, physically, all of that. But it is necessary to have those spaces, because I can almost guarantee is at least one other couple that can share similar story.
Right.
And y'all be surprised on how y'all got over. So shout out, for platforms like this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, she said the main thing though, man, that I know that it's all gonna work out. She said, been preparing.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So preparing means you still have faith that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, so as long as they're preparing and trusting God, that God's will is gonna come forth. So I applaud them for continuing to prepare. And in the meantime, man, I'll advise your husband. Like I told Gerard before we got on, this is my first time ever speaking about it openly. Uh, and it's great to have a platform like this to where you can speak with other brothers who have had similar situations, and we may not all deal with it the same way, but you can learn from everybody's experience, and find hope and faith from their experiences to strengthen your hope and faith. So I applaud them for continuing to prepare and continuing to believe that
Yeah. So one other comment from Irish. She says, I commend y'all for being so transparent discussing this. It's so important for men to share their feelings about how miscarriages and fertility affects them. Thank you. So I think a lot of people have shared those exact sentiments when they knew what this topic was coming up about. I know a couple guys who are actually watching the show right now, and they're not prepared to speak on it just out of fear or worry of how their mates could potentially, take it. So, even that's the thing about it. Even when you want to, you got to just navigate it with a level of care that preserves the dignity of your mate.
Right.
Yeah.
That's something heavy to talk about again. Yeah. So again, not saying that what we went through is irrelevant or not heavy, but you do have to make sure, like, hey, how does that conversation going to affect the other ones, right?
Yeah, it's a sensitive subject, man, and you have to treat it with care. You have to approach it with care, and you have to, talk about it or converse about it, at the proper time.
Yeah. So here we go. We're going to just wrap this up. The discussion. We're going to do some parting thoughts as well. So, what I just want to tell everybody is, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this thing called faith is, I just can't imagine living life without faith. I talked to one of my partners a couple months ago about it, and he was asking me like, "Hey, like, how do you get these thoughts out of your head with what he was dealing with?" And I was telling him it's faith, And I'll tell you what, without faith, I've had momentary lapses of faith, and it caused me to panic. And when I panicked, it made situations 10 times worse. Now I'm trying to recover, but thank God for the grace of those around me that was able to fill in when I did panic and I didn't have faith. Those are my little parting words, is just to make sure that strengthen your faith, exercise it, and just say the size of a mustard seed, and it can do wonders. We're not telling everybody to have great faith like Abraham, but just a little bit, just to get you through the next moment. And then when you get to the next moment, you worry about the next moment, and surround yourself with like-minded people that want the best out of you, and just allow you to be raggedy, but just know who you need to be raggedy too. So just yeah. So those are my parting thoughts. We'll go with you, Larnelle. What do you want to leave with the crowd?
I'm gonna piggyback off of you, bro. Like you say, faith is the foundation. And if you can learn to, and I'm gonna speak directly from my experience and my mental state. If you can learn to view those situations, and not just that situation, any trial or tribulation or hardship that you go through, if you can view it from the correct perspective, the biblical perspective that God is in control, and everything that we're going through is for a reason. And in the end, it all works out for our good anyway. It may hurt while you're going through it, but if you can view it as a perfecting season, a maturing season, strengthening your faith season, then it'll hurt while you're going through it. But then when you look back at it, when he brings you through it, you'll see it. Okay, I understand now why I had to endure what I had to endure. So if you can view it from that perspective, man, I guarantee you it'll make it more manageable to navigate through. I ain't gonna say it's gonna make it easier, but it'll make it more manageable, and you'll get through it, with a greater perspective, a greater insight, a greater wisdom, a greater knowledge and revelation than going through it depressed, going through it, ready to jump off a bridge. like I was, at the time. So yeah, just learn to view it in the right perspective.
Man, I appreciate that transparency, man. It's the words, man. So Furious, my man, we're gonna let you close us out with your parting thoughts.
Respect. As everyone has said, uh, I would say make sure you first realize it's life. Life is happening. None of us get out of it, unscathed.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, realize that you're going to get through it too. Um, the Most High, the Creator in your life is still 100 and 0. In battles, you're still here.
Yeah,
Uh, and as hard as it is, understand within you, there's still a blessing that's going to come even out of the trauma and the destruction.
Right.
And if you can hold on to that and see it, you could persevere through it. What you're going to get out of it, it's only going to be a testament to it. It's only going to make it that much better.
Right.
But make sure you have an outlet. Make sure you got a source. Man, you matter.
mm,
That feeling that you feel that you oftentimes put away, and you're starting to say to yourself, "Oh, I'm used to it." You're not supposed to get used to that feeling, bro. I'm telling you,
oh man,
because that feeling is going to turn into probably some type of mass within the body, because that's what stress does. So
Right.
make sure you able to communicate before it gets out of hand, and just know, because you need to communicate something, it doesn't make you crazy. It only makes you human.
Right.
Um,
mm,
and if you can really understand how human you are, you'll start giving yourself some grace, throughout all these situations.
yeah, that's good. Here in our culture, there's a mindset that being wrong or being weak is such a bad thing that we do carry these masks, ready to act like everything is okay. And I'm not just saying that I can just go out and just, you know, be unhinged on everything, but at the same time, you make sure that you're surrounded by people. We're such a reactive society. You know, trying to make sure that you're surrounded by people. You got to outlet should bad things happen. So
Right.
in the army, we do risk assessment on everything. Like if we know what's coming up, next week, month after, we are already preparing like for what could potentially go wrong. And nothing, I think, in this life is more important than being surrounded by a support system,
Right.
of people that you can lean on, So in times that people say that men are emotionless. And I say that's a lie from the pits of hell. We
Right.
have emotions just because we don't show them. I think it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes you're emotionally mature, I think, is the idea to be, so that we can regulate in a healthy way. But that don't mean that we lack emotions. If we didn't have emotions, we'll die. If we didn't have
Exactly.
the ability to fear, the
Yeah.
ability to be sad, the ability
Right.
to yearn for our mates, in the most tremendous way. Those emotions are there for us to harness and use in a healthy way. So that's what I want
Right.
to lead you with on my second part and thoughts. But you guys, man, some of the dopest men I've ever met in my life, and I don't say that in jest.
Exactly.
I appreciate everything that you bring to this discussion. People out there in the audience, again, this is not an easy topic. When I talked to Tamika before, I told her like this is one of those topics where we either get a lot of discussion, questions where people are pouring out and sharing, or some people just to sit back and learn and watch and take in. And this was one of those where we did have some input, but there were people that just wanted to watch and take in. So I appreciate you guys being the professors that you are, sharing your wisdom, sharing your experience, being open and transparent. And that's what we need to do as men, and that's what this platform is about. Real men talk. It's encouraging people to be honest, to be open, find those safe spaces. Sometimes where we are is not where we need to be. So you
Right.
need to seek it somewhere else. So this is that place. And I'm gonna ask both of you to commit to coming back.
Oh, for sure.
I'd love to have you back, man, and we'll do it again in the future. So thank you both. Um, how can they reach you? Let's do that before you go. How can these people reach out to you and find you on social media, email, or whatever? If you don't mind sharing that information.
I'll start myself. Facebook, WL Green, the third. You could find me there. Then Instagram, Phurious Stiles 90. Musically, if y'all want to cash in tunes and music, find me at G Joint Productions. I actually have a project. I'm about 80% done with it. The Think
That's what's
Tank,
up.
new album coming. Excited about it. It's gonna sound different, but just a few different things going on. I'm getting back into the ministry, so public speaking, a lot of different things, a lot of different avenues, mentoring. So just ways to get connected and network partnership. I'm definitely here and want to build with you in order, to make this world a better place. So definitely reach out.
That's what's up.
My man, my man.
That's what's up. And yeah, you can reach me on Facebook at Gerod Sin, JerielSin, or Instagram Black Coffee, BLAQ Coffee. What I got going on, man, I'm dedicated this coming up season to get the podcast jumping up again. Gerard already, said that the dedication and commitment it takes. So yeah, I'm focused on getting that back, man. And like Furious, man, I'm really leaning towards trying to get back into the ministry, bro. So I would love to reach out to y'all brothers if y'all want to get together, have a virtual Bible study, something like that, man. I'm all that's what my mindset is right now. So anything kingdom building wise, man, that's what I want to be in.
So and Black Coffee, what is that about? The Black Coffee.
Man, I'm a coffee connoisseur. So my whole everything, the podcast and everything kind of just jumped off of from my love of coffee. I go around visiting different coffee shops, taking pictures, doing videos, giving my reviews on them. So yeah, I'm a coffee man, bro.
Yeah. Hey man, reach out to my global people. My Mogul people, man, and see how we can lab and work together, man. Help reach the masses. So man, thank y'all. Appreciate you, Tamika. As always, we can't do this without you. Appreciate the vision. Appreciate you packaging this thing together, making it look better, than what I could ever imagine. The audience, thank you so much for tuning in and coming in. It's all about you. The floor is yours. Podcast where we truly believe it's important to give you a voice, and then when people feel like they have a voice, and sometimes it just makes things a little bit better. So thank you, audience. Again, stop right now. Share. If you know men that's been through this, women that's been through it, share it. Share the show with them. This information is only good if it's reaching people. So let's help us, if you will, do that right there. Appreciate you, Miss Claire Ivory, the conscious creator. We'll get her back on here in a couple of weeks. But again, this is day one of Real Men Talk Summit. Tomorrow we got Dr. Marlon Ware and Brother Gregory McKinney. We'll be on talking about protecting our women. So tune in. You don't want to miss the show. Thank you again, audience. And Tamika, you can take us out.